next item, which is a light drama from members of the LCCI Export Group. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. We've not been seeing you at the meeting of the LCCI Export Group.
Hello? Yes. Hello?
Yeah, why have you not been attending meetings?
Yes, over time, you people, you have not been encouraging me because you are coming up with many policies that I don't know about. When I take my container, the last time now, I was told that you closed the border. So many policies are coming up that we exporters are not aware of. So that's why I'm being frustrated. I've lost a lot of money in the past. So part of the reason why I've not been coming for meetings is I've been having some challenges in the area of documentation, free movement of goods. So I want to really know what is happening because I'm being frustrated.
Yeah, but you know that if you don't have 10 meetings, you won't be able to get familiar with the procedures. We have different stakeholders that are members of the LCCI group. And if you don't participate in meetings actively, you won't be able to get familiar with all these intricacies you're complaining about. And you know that a nation does not make, or an individual does not make an island. So you need to participate, interact with people, let them know, like there's a symposium happening today now. At the symposium, you get familiar with a lot of procedures, a lot of regulatory intricacies, how you can comply with them, how you can accelerate the process of your activities.
Okay.
So I'd encourage you to always participate in meetings and put in your best. Then at the end of the day, you get familiar with everything we're doing. Because the Chamber of Commerce is actually established for everybody to be able to do business. So if you don't come around, you just sit in the comfort zone of your office, you can only get as far as your office.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me now that if I come for meeting regularly, I'll be able to get the basic information.
Most definitely.
Okay,
most definitely.
So
you can ask questions if you're confused about anything, and you get familiar, you get educated about how to go about it, the processes, how to actually actualize the goals of your business.
Okay, I think from now on I'll be coming for meetings, and I hope you do all what you have said.
Yeah,
based on
it's not just me.
Yeah,
it's just up to me, but you know there are a lot of members that will be able to run you through the process.
Okay.
Stakeholders, representatives, and they will be able to carry you along in all the processes.
Okay, I think that's good. I'll be attending meetings now regularly.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a nice day.
Okay, and you too.
Hello? Hi, Vicky. How are you doing? Yeah. Hope you're fine. Yeah, I want to inform you that I'll be in California in 2 days. Yeah. My export consignment will be landing in 3 days. So I want to be there to monitor things myself. Okay. Yeah, I'll see you. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.
It is my time to shine. Hey, I will arise and shine. I bet maybe they look me. This year has been declared my year to multiply. I will multiply indeed, seriously. Hey, in fact, I joined the export group just 6 months ago. All the meetings I've been going to. Right now, I'm importing my 40-feet container of ginger to UK. So if you are still there, because I heard those who are talking, and they are still there, me, I am moving. Multiply, oh, I beg. Hey, this year, it is my year. Oh, yeah. Be fast. Don't let me miss my plane.
Madam, what do you have in there?
I'm
Please, can
just,
we-
I'm traveling now. Okay.
Can we check it, please? What? What? What's all this? Let's check it. Let's check this.
What are you saying?
Do you know you're not supposed to carry all this out of the country?
Open this. Come on, open this. I don't
Open this.
have to
Open
open
this.
Open. This is just my personal. This is my bag. Right?
Let me
This is
see
my
those
hand luggage.
contents.
You
Let me
call-
see the contents in the bag. Can I see the items?
This is my boss. You want to take my boss?
Take it, please, madam. What is this?
What is this?
This is just
Okay.
Madam, you call these personal items?
This is palm oil. Put that in when I get there.
No, madam, you're not supposed to go out with this.
Was this well tested?
I bought it in the market. I'm not the one who made
What do
it.
you mean by market? A lot of things are being smuggled out of Nigerians with replacing it with one item in the market or the other. Please, we can't take this. You can't really travel with it.
So I can't eat.
Ma, you're not going to go with this. You're not going with this. You're not going with this at all.
This is honey. Just honey. I don't use sugar.
Is it truly pure honey?
Please, madam, you can test. What is all this? We want to go out where you'll be harassing people.
Let me see
Can't
those
we?
things in the bag.
Now, wow.
Madam,
Hey.
please.
Now, wow. This country.
Please
sef.
pack this thing. Take it back. Take it back. Take it
This
back.
country.
Take it back,
sef.
please.
Hello,
I'm sorry, madam.
madam. What's the problem? I don't know. Where are you going?
Well done, sir. Thank you, Jare. All the encouragement you give us. Now I want to travel. They will be harassing people. Is it wrong? At least I'm not going to. It's ginger I'm exporting. I just want to go and meet my food. And then they are harassing me here.
What?
Is this how they should be behaving?
Officer, what's the problem?
Am I not a Nigerian?
She said she's going out. And she said she's going to
contents she
and the
has
content
in
here
there.
are not meant to be taken out of the
allowed.
country.
Madam, come. Some of the things you have in your bag, they are contrabands. No, not that you cannot hit, but some things are on the list of things that we cannot move around. And also, we need them to be well packaged, so that you don't get there. Like right now, you have meat, fried meat. And when you get over there, they are likely to collect those things and throw them away. So, I think some of the things we talk about at the meetings, we talk about a list of things that you can take out of the country, and things that you can package. You need to package very well. I know that you are going for business. I know you are going for business. Would let me just talk to them.
They should not even let me miss my flight. Because
Gentlemen, whatever you can do for some of the things that she cannot take away, please kindly let her leave those ones behind.
What you're trying to make out
And the ones that she can go with it. Please,
there are some
so that she will not miss her
items
flight.
here she can't really travel with.
So you just leave the
she
things that
needs
you
to
cannot
pack
travel
them
with
here.
and leave them out. Okay?
thank you, sir. That's what you would have told me. Okay, please take them back home.
You market women that don't understand any language.
I beg, they don't want me to travel. If they should tell me they are looking for something else, don't mind them.
Please, let's give them a round of applause. Short, precise, and direct. Message delivered, message passed. Next, we move to the panel of discussion. But before we invite all the panelists, I would want the panelists to please come here for a group photograph before the discussion begins. I would start with Engineer Olu Ayegusi, CEO Olu Foods. Please, let's give him a round of applause. Also, I would like the president of LCCI and the chairman of the export group to please come join them. Let's give them a round of applause. Also, I would like to invite Ms. Ugenyi Kalu, Head Lagos Area Office, Nigerian Export Import Bank. Let's give her Let's give him a round of applause. Also, Mrs. Simidele Onobajo, Technical Assistant to the DG, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. We have Director Product Certification, Standards Organization of Nigeria, Teso Oruguden. Please, let's give him a round of applause. Then we have Mr. Idihe Ebenezer. Please join them. Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service. Please, let's give him a round of applause as he joins them. The moderator, please, let's also welcome the moderator, Mr. Bamidele Ayemibo. Okay, Mr. Kola Awe, XPT Logistics. Okay, he's here in the capacity of the chairman of Nasima Export Group. Okay. Thank you. While others can go to their seat, we want the president, the chairman, and our moderator and the panelists to please wait. The panelists, all the panelists, all the panelists. All the panelists. All the panelists should please join. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Chairman. So the panelists can take their seat, and the moderator, please, you can come have your seat as we begin the panel discussion. You can please come upstage. Yes, we have. Moderator. Moderator. No. No, he's going to sit. Apology to Mrs. Odega. I omitted your name. We will still have another round of photograph session. No, you are part.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to 2019 Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry Symposium, where we are discussing trade and regulation, considering how vital trade is to regulation. We have the distinguished panelists here on the podium, and I'll be giving them about 3 minutes to just tell us about themselves and what they do, and if they are government agencies, just also giving us in summary the value their agency add to the export process. So I'll start from my left, and I think that's the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having us here. My name is Idachaba Ebenezer. I represent the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service. Unfortunately, my DG was not able to make it because of exigencies of duty, and he asked us to represent. Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service is a government agency set up to regulate the import and export of agricultural products. Why the regulation is not to limit trade as it were, but is to secure the agricultural economy of Nigeria by way of protecting it against incursion of alien pests and diseases that could become virulent and then wipe out our produce, as the case may be. In setting up this organization, Nigeria was quite conscious of the fact that other world bodies will trade with us. And so certain agreements were entered into with international bodies domiciled in Rome, the International Plant Protection Convention. And that body sets up the rules that every member country must abide with when you have to export or import agricultural produce. And so ours is to control that export and import of agricultural produce, and to be sure that whatever is coming into Nigeria is pest-free. In the same way, whatever goes out of Nigeria is also pest-free. In carrying out this duty, therefore, we need to have, we have inspectors and we have scientists of different category that helps out or that watches out for import, and in the same way, inspect for export. All that inspection is just to be sure that whatever you're taking to the other country is free of pests, and whatever you're bringing into our country too is free of pests. To do this, import permits are issued for imports, and phytosanitary certificates are issued for exports. Now, when you give us an import permit, what it tells us is that the country you are going to take the product to has agreed that you can bring this product to them, and they will tell us exactly what the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service should do to be sure that that product is free of pests. In the same way, when you're taking from our country to them, we also do these checks so that you don't export our own pests to them. Why is because certain pests that are of no significance to us in Nigeria or Africa, as the case may be, might become very, very serious pests in other countries because of weather issues. And the ones that are not issues to them there too, at the time they touch the tropical area, they can become very, very virulent. So many instances are there before now, and some of them are still current going now. We had the incidents of the black cicatoca that came in sometime in the 80s that almost wiped out our plantations of plantain. And then the cassava mealybug came in again. About that time, we had issues with cassava. Presently, we're battling with the fruit fly, the Mediterranean fruit fly that has come and is almost ravaging our fruit market as it is. Now, these are all issues that have come up because of leakages in entry and exit of pests. In the same way, we have suffered a few setbacks again in the international market because of certain product that did not pass through the quarantine service and found its way into the international market. For the past 2 years, thereabout, we have been suspended from exporting hibiscus to Mexico because certain consignment went to Mexico and then they were found to have been infested. We have equally suffered some element of ban running through 3 years now on the brown beans export to the European Union. Pest issues came up, and issues of pesticide residue too were implicated in that matter. Going forward, there are new EU regulations, European Union regulations that are going to be coming up and they are going to come into effect by December. Those regulations tend to specify what we should do if our export of fruit and vegetable has to go into the international market. We are very, very sensitive about EU because once you have a problem with one of the EU countries, the other 28 member nations key into that same problem. If we send something to the Netherlands, for instance, or to Germany, for instance, and there's a problem in Germany, once they flag it, all the other EU countries receive the same alert. This thing has come into Germany from Nigeria, and this is what we found. Once it happens in all those countries, it means they begin to become very cautious of what they do with Nigeria. And so we try to, as much as possible, follow these regulations that are there. Suffice it to say that for you to export, advice as it were now, for you to export any agricultural commodity out of Nigeria, please, it is very, very important that you approach the NAQS and obtain the necessary certification. These are bound by international regulations, ISPMs we call them. Once you don't do that certification, you are in contravention, and NAQS cannot help you when there's problem. As I speak now, there are about 18 containers of cashew nuts on their way back from India. Non-compliance issues. The guy exported from here. He did not do due diligence. He got there. They asked him for the documents. He couldn't present. The best option they gave to him was for you to take your containers back to Nigeria. And for those of us that are into export, you will understand what that means when it comes to losses that will come accrued on 18 containers. And we want to believe that they are lenient because they have the right to go ahead and destroy those consignments because it's a sovereign nation and then you are not compliant. So our way going forward is for us to, as much as possible, when you want to do things that has to do with agricultural produce, please contact the Agricultural Quarantine Service and obtain the necessary procedure that you need to go through before that export is fit for the international market.
Thank you, sir.
Just one layer.
Okay.
Now, that is for the bulk export. Now, for our traveling population, where we have had issues too. I'm traveling, I'm headed for the UK, I'm headed for the United States, I want to take a few things for my family there. There's nothing wrong with that. But we always advise that you get to the airport way ahead of your departure time. Because you will find our men there, and they will likely want to examine what you're carrying. That it is food for consumption does not mean that it has to be in a bad state. So please, when you're traveling with those kind of things, get to the airport, our guys are there, let them look at it, they will advise. The ones that are not good and fit to go, they will advise you, you will give it back to your people, they take it back home. The ones that are fit, they will do a certification there, and then it is good to go. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I have a couple of questions, but let's hear every other person, then we'll come back with the question. Yes, Navdak.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Simidele Onobajo. I'm a deputy director. I'm also the technical assistant to the Director General on Food Matters. I've been in NAFDAC for over 33 years, so I have basic experience on food. So I believe I'm coming to us with that background. And NAFDAC is the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control. And what do? We regulate and control the importation, exportation, advertisements, distribution, sale, and use of regulated products. What are these regulated products? They're food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, packaged water, chemicals, and detergents. And how do we do this activity? We ensure that all the regulated products are safe and of good quality and are wholesome for consumption. These procedures are done by registration. We ensure that all products, all regulated products, either imported, locally manufactured or processed, or to be exported, must be registered. And that involves a lot of things. It involves inspection of your facility, evaluation of the personnel, evaluation of the equipment, location of your facility, identifying and testing raw materials, and even evaluating the procedure up to the distribution and onto your table. It's not just to look at your process, it's to send them to the laboratory. When you get to the laboratory, but before you do that, you ensure that the value is added from the raw materials stage, because what you garbage in is what you will garbage out. So if you start with a bad raw material, eventually, no matter what process you put into the raw material, at the end of the day, it's not likely you're going to get a good product. So we ensure that quality is built into your process from the start. That is using the right quality raw material. And of course, we're talking about pesticide residue, we're talking about maximum levels of some additives and things like that. These are evaluated in the laboratory. The process of manufacture is also evaluated. When we ensure that you're producing according to the right standards, good manufacturing standards or good agricultural standards, then we'll test your products. When your products are tested in the lab and they conform with international standards, because NAFDAC leverages all its standards on Codex Alimentarius, which is also called the Food Code. And this Codex Alimentarius Commission is made of over 188 countries, to which Nigeria is a member. So via consensus and scientific methods, standards are developed at the Codex level. Then we come down to the national level. Standard Organization of Nigeria is the elaborating standard, but they don't organization, but they don't do it alone. They do it in collaboration with other relevant stakeholders that have to do with that particular standard. So when there's a standard to be developed, NAFDAC is invited, as well as the private sector. When these standards are developed, we now test the standards in the laboratory to ensure that they conform. Now we need to know what the standards of the country you are exporting to are. So when you want to export, if your product is registered, we will just take that sample, confirm that it meets with the standard we have set previously, and then give you an export certification. Export certification exists for medicines. We have certificate of pharmaceutical products for medicines. We have for raw materials, which are export certificates. We have for personal items, health certificates, and we have for finished goods, certificate of manufacture and free sale. So all these are the certifications that we issue. However, we have found that along the value chain, that there are many players in the system. And because of the challenges that we've been experiencing by receiving rejects, especially from EU, via the rapid alert system, we have now determined that we would work for collaborations with other relevant stakeholders. On the 9th of August, we had a meeting in which we invited Customs, Shippers Council, Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Ministry of Trade and Investment, and several other organizations to come to a round table, consider the problems we are having with rejects, and to profess ways forward on how we can work together as a nation, so that whenever we have the strong body that would facilitate trade, we believe that there will be a reduction in the rejection that is coming out of Nigeria, and as a result, we would be able to key into this diversification of non-oil exports. Thank you.
Now, sorry, I didn't want to forget this. What was the conclusion of that meeting? Because I think that meeting was very necessary.
Yes, the conclusion is that we are going to have another one, because that was the first introductory meeting, and another one is coming on the 9th of October. And I believe when the time approaches, we will disseminate the information again, and we plead with all member stakeholders that are involved in export to please come to this round table and let's talk for the benefit of Nigeria.
I would recommend, we can stop low quality product from leaving Nigeria if only we ensure that the people guarding the borders only allow certified product to leave. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So, for example, a situation in which people will not do documentation and the good will leave is something I think should be discussed. And it's good that custom is there. So because in some countries, if your documentation is incomplete, or it's even automated, your product cannot leave. But here, they don't even process an export, talk less of quarantine and the like, and the good will leave Nigeria. So I think it's a good initiative. So I'm hoping that the outcome will be a good one. But I'm happy that you are meeting together, because you are the only one that can fix the problem as far as I'm concerned.
Let me just quickly shed a light on that.
Okay.
Yes, we agree that part of the solution is ensuring that they get certification, but my question is, what kind of certification are we talking about? We all know what the procedures are, but a lot of us want to beat the system and ensure our trade go out fast. Unfortunately, your trade goes out without meeting the standard which we've all agreed to, and then it will be rejected.
It shouldn't go out in the first place.
Well, we know the Don't let me say it. We
I
know,
know the
we know
challenges.
why it goes out.
Let Engineer Egusi. So, Engineer Egusi is a very experienced trader in this business. We've met in the UK at different occasions discussing this issue. So I'm sure he has a lot of experience to share with us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I'm happy to be in your midst this morning. I've been in export for over 37 years now. I actually started when I finished my youth corps, briefly, with my savings from youth service. And the Oluolu group as a whole has operations not only in Nigeria, but in UK, US, and in 2 countries in South America. And like you rightly said, Mr. Moderator, the position I am in now is to make sure that those coming behind do not make mistakes I made, because those mistakes were costly. But I've gone through it, I've learned from it. E.g., wrong labeling alone as a regulation in EU actually shifted my domicile position from Nigeria to UK in 1987. I used to label my palm wine here as Emu, which was okay. Emu is the Yoruba word for palm wine. My partner over there thought we should change the name to an English name, so they put palm wine. And so when he got to the port, the customs said, well, you are importing wine from non-easy country. So we're going to charge you not only the duty, but tariff. A container that was worth 2,200 pounds then in 1987, I was asked to come and pay a total tariff and duty of 14,000 pounds for a young man of about, what, 20-something years. So those are the mistakes that are costly in terms of not being aware or being ignorant of regulations, either to the importing country or from the exporting country. But generally, my take from all of this is this. We know that regulations are meant to protect the consumer, guarantee safety, maybe even at workplaces, and environmental protection generally. And be that as it may, trade in itself is only an opportunity for you to enter a niche in the market and make some income for yourself and for the society, for your country or for your family. It's that balancing act that can be very tricky between the regulations and the trade in itself. And over 37 years, I've come to be a master of that balancing act. Because in essence, when you're a business person, whether you're an exporter or a local trader, you're trying to leverage a competitive advantage. So from my standpoint of view, if Nigeria wants to export something, say for example, a processed pounded yam flour or Lcci, for example, you ask yourself, can you get this from other countries where you are exporting to? Can EEC get it from Chile or from India? So what's the advantage of me exporting these to EEC when they can get it cheaper? And not only the cost of production or the cost of raw material will make your product competitive, the regulations you have to go through in your local country may mean the difference between being competitive. In case of NAFDAC, I'll put you on spot, madam. I'm a NAFDAC. That's the constant complaint. So, from the standpoint of regulations, how do we balance that your necessity to do due diligence, but at the same time, not drive people away from wanting to show up their face instead of using the back door to get out? I'm a chairman of a platform. Yesterday, we had somebody from UK complaining now. He exported some vegetables over the weekend. They released most of the goods, but the vegetables have been seized. She doesn't know what to do. And the question I asked is that, did you do due diligence back in Lagos where you exported? He said, well, they gave her an export certificate. My suspicion is that somebody is playing fast with her. You know, they will just say, look, give us 5,000 naira or give us 10,000 naira, we'll issue the certificate for you. What am I alluding to, sir, members of the panel? I think our institutions are still weak It's only institutions that make either a nation or even a family or a business environment workable and achieving results. It's only when those institutions are very strong, and I'm talking about the personnel involved, not trying to make small money for themselves at the expense of a national interest. Until we can take care of that, we'll be having this recurrent problem of our goods not being allowed into EC or to US. Another thing is that the exporters itself has a responsibility. Most people just jump into export without awareness. You hear Johnson has just made $1 million from exporting cashew. You two jump to the bush and carry cashew. You won't ask questions. You don't want to know. Over the last 30 years, I've been called by Customs UK to come and buy containers of this and that at a very ridiculous price.
Auction.
It's not even auction. I'm the first person they will call because Olu is the leading African importer of food into UK. They will say, Mr. Olu, your country people have come again. No. And because if you do not want to send the container back, like you said, sir, to Nigeria, then they will ask that they want to destroy it for you. And mind the word, they want to destroy it for you. So they are not saying they're going to, so you are going to give them money to help you destroy the goods you brought in. And I bet that even if you decide to return it back, sir, the customs here will now ask you and say, where are you bringing this back from, sir? You say India. What happened? They say it's not good. Oh, so it's Nigeria that is good to come back. So the exporter has a responsibility as well. And I'm talking from experience from at least 4 continents where I operate from. But having said that, I think we are here today to find how agencies, the exporter, or even the local trade only inspect what is in the supermarket. What is NAFDAC saying about the gari in Onyibo market, where I can go and buy? Are you saying therefore that some people are allowed to die on the streets if they can buy from Onyibo or buy from Ojuelegba market, but if you enter the supermarket as a corporate or middle class person that we are going to look after you? There's an inconsistency also in policy formulation or execution. Those areas have to be. I rest my case for now.
Tolling the line of thought about what you said, NAFDAC, I had an issue similar recently. I renewed my vehicle license, so I was called for MOT. So I went there and they tested the car, and they said I have to work on the brake, work on the rear light, work on 2 other things. So I said, okay, I will do it. I appreciate what you're doing, but it's only 2 or 3 people that will be in this car at the time. What happened to the bus on the road that doesn't even have light? The bus on the road, but this is a cab, but bus carrying 14 people. What happened to it? And the guy said, you know now, it's Nigeria now, you understand? All right, sir, son.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Teso Ngudwem, the Director of Product Certification, standing in for my DG. It's a good forum. We share our ideas. Where the standard body is responsible for coordinating the making of standard. Like my colleague says, we don't make standard. The stakeholders make standards. The emphatic point all of us are talking about here is that we Nigerians, are we ready to do things right? That should be the first starting point. Standards are done based on economic needs and the market needs. And LCCI, I expect you to be in the forefront of determining products that your members, particularly the export group, are going to take out. And the standards we have in Nigeria, in as much as we try to make them international, like my colleagues say, we're a member of the Codex Group, which provide guidelines for food, but there are unique situations that pertains to every country. So I expect that for the standard organization to help, most of the standards we develop are based on our economic needs as a country. For us to play majorly in the export need of other countries, then we need to determine which is the product. What is the regulation in that country? And regulations elsewhere are not just derived. They are derived based on standards. First, you should have the minimum requirements that is required for that product. So for standard organization, we provide the standards when you need it. And the standards we have here are meant for the Nigerian market. Although derived from international requirements, some might be unique to us. So my best advice is the stakeholders, which NAFDAC is trying to do, all the stakeholders involved in the business should come to the round table. Where are the countries we are exporting to? Like my big brother says here, 4 continents. What are their rules? Then together we can sit down and have guidelines for export of those products to those countries based on their regulations, based on their limits, and with that we have less issues of reject. And we are on board. Tell us the list of products that you want to go to Europe, you want to go to America, and we invite the stakeholders, the market women. Our value chain in our food products in particular is poor. Our value chain in our food product is poor. I cannot hide it sitting here. The soya, most of us don't even test the soya, and you don't expect a small farmer to test the soya. And you take such product to Europe, the first thing they are talking about is traceability. Is it coming where children were used to farm? Where trees cut down? Was it? But the same people are the people trying to come through the back door. So as Nigerians, either government agencies or the exporters, we need to sit down, redefine our game plan, like my brother who is an exporter here. We need to check our house. Well, I want to export to UK. What do they want? How do they want it? And like he said, we need to also improve our value chain. Let the farmer know that when he's farming, he's not the end user of the product alone. He needs to take it to the market. And in certain localities, go to buy gari, the gari is almost 20% sand. And it's a deliberate attempt because somebody wants to, maybe he knows that he's taking it to you so that you are determining one of the parameters is to determine the quantity by weight. So you want to make it heavy so that instead of 100 kg, the real gari is 20 kg, while the sand takes a lot of the chunk. So it's a good forum for us to synergize. What are the issues? What are the products we want to export? What are the standards in that country? And in doing that as a standard body, we'll also be working our standards here to conform with that of the export. The world has become a global village. So our standards should also be at par with what we have elsewhere in the world. And I think that will help us better.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes. So that's Nexim. Nexim will be talking about how to regulate the money. How to regulate the money for export. Mr. Kalu.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be in this program. Nexim Bank is regulated. He's not a regulator, he's regulated. Yes, by our owners or the regulators. Our main mandate is to encourage export. Encourage and facilitate non-oil export. Non-oil export. And how do we do this? We do it by way of providing support. Support by way of finance, funding, by way of advisory services, by way of information to exporters. So it's an export credit agency to encourage export, encouraged by funding. So now, for us to support, we have to be sure that whatever it is that you want to export has gone through all the certifications, whether locally or wherever it is that you are exporting to. And how do we do that? You need to show us evidence that you are registered with all the relevant agencies, you have certificates or certification from the agencies. You also understand exactly where you are exporting to. That can only come to you from maybe your off-takers and all of that to tell you what standard of product, what are the things that you need to they expect from you. So we try as much as possible to ensure that people go through all this so that we don't fund you and you move your goods outside this country and your goods will get rejected outside. Because if that happens, it means you are going to lose your money and the bank also is going to feel the heat. So it's a very good setup for us to look at how can we harness these things together. And I think it's something that we can do. There are so many ways that we can do it to ensure that all the things that we do in terms of export and even import go through all the certifications that they are supposed to go through. Because at the end of the day, if we don't do that, we are going to be the ones to lose as a country. When things go out of this country and they are rejected, it's a reputational thing. And there are agencies that are regulating all these things. So you are, as an exporter, you are meant to go through all those things, all the processes, ensure that whatever it is that you want to export meets the standard in terms of whether it's something that's acceptable to this country and also acceptable to whatever it is that you are taking it to. So Nexim is there willing at any point in time to support exporters, but we have to ensure that whatever it is that you want to export meets the standard, both locally and whatever it is that you want to export to.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, the chairman, Export Group, Nasima.
Thank you very much. My name is Kola Wole Awe. I'm currently one guy in export in the house. I'm an exporter, I'm a freight forwarder, I'm a transporter, I run logistics business as a whole. But I'm currently sitting down here in the capacity of Nasima Export Group. My take in regulations is that regulations are meant to achieve two focal points. The first one is national development, then the second one is the welfare of the trading community. Any regulation that does not achieve any of these two things must be looked into so as to make sure that you achieve these two things. And then when it comes to export, some people tend to say that export is over-regulated, multiple agencies and stuff like that. Yeah, we have a lot of myriads of regulations in export. That is what makes export a little bit different from import. Import is a straight-jacketed transaction. You just get the form, you open your form, and then all the document comes to you, and then it is being cleared off. But in export, there is the layers of process and regulations that you face are enormous. The major problem and fundamental is a lot of acting on export. From the freight forwarder to the LBA. They don't have any knowledge of what you have on export. So exporters should gear themselves towards understanding the business. The country, the federal government is talking about export now, and I know more people are going to want to go into the business of export. But if you don't have the prerequisite knowledge, please don't go into export. Export has two regulations, the domestic regulations and the international regulations. If you don't know the importing procedure to the country you are importing to, a simple thing like CTN number will put you in trouble. Something as small as container tracking number will put you in trouble. Something as small as BITEC number will put you in trouble. So when you want to go into export, study the industry. Don't look at Olu that is doing very well now. So many of us say, won't I start exporting plantain flour now? Don't look at them. First of all, go back home, sit down, understand the procedure that is involved. Go beyond advocacy. We should not go beyond just advocating. We talk, we come to seminars, symposium, and we talk. Let's start going back to the practice. I want to see a situation where associations are able to implement government policies for the benefit of their members. We did something in Nasima Export Group. There are a lot of people that wanted to get the FDA certificate. FDA is very expensive. But what we did was we made sure that we got FDA certificate for some of our members at 50% cost. 50% of what they ought to have paid. We did the same thing for the trademark. We did the same thing for the barcodes. Let's start reinventing the wheel in associations. Government will always be government, but it's the association that prefer the solution to all these problems. Thank you very much.
All right. Nigeria Export Promotion Council.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Francisco Dega, Assistant Director. I'm here to represent my regional coordinator, currently on official assignment. Nigeria Export Promotion Council is a government agency saddled with the responsibility of promoting the non-oil export. Like my sister agency here, they have told you, we have the oil export sector and we have the non-oil export sector. In Nigeria Export Promotion Council, we have a 4 pivotal role that we play to promote the non-oil exporter, and these are, number 1, we develop. In developing, we build the capacity of the exporters and let them know what they need to know before they enter the international market. Export is an international trade governed by international laws, and they are standardized. So for you to be a good exporter, you have to know the nitty-gritty. And not just developing, we also promote. We promote the exporters in the sense that we have to showcase you. We help to package you. We help to do what? To expose you. And this we do in various fora. I won't bore you with that because I'm not making a presentation, but I'm just giving you the 4 pivotal role we play in export. The 3rd one is facilitation role. We facilitate trade. We take our exporters, those that are export ready, those that have acquired the export culture, to international market where they get exposure, buyer meet sellers. That's for we educate. To know. Council is there to assist you. We're there to promote you. We're there to develop you, and we're there to incentivize you. The non-oil export sector is we leverage on all these agencies by advocating for you. We're doing this you reject. They now kind of law. And when he cried, allowed to go to the destination that it was originally intended to. So what am I trying to tell you? We are there to support you all the way, because the non-oil export sector is the new engine room to drive the Nigerian economy. And I will encourage you to come partner with us. Any challenge you have, feel free to communicate with us. Our website are there. Communicate is user-friendly. If you have any issue, our office is at number 15 Olowole Road, Apapa, Lagos. Come there, call me, call anybody. I'm head of trade information. We give you information free of charge. All our trainings free of charge. So we expect you to come on board to do it right. Like you have heard them say, export is highly regulated. It's not international local market where you can just package your wear, go to Igbo market and go and dispose of it. In the international market, they have their rules, they have their regulations. And whereby one finger becomes soiled, it spreads to the whole nation. So please come on board and let us do it right. And I know we'll get it right at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I have a few questions for the panelists, then I will throw it open also to the audience. One is for Nigeria Correctional Quarantine Service. I was in a meeting recently, the CBN Technical Committee meeting on export facilitation, and they were concerned about the issuance of NAQS phytosanitary certificate. I understand it's largely manual, and the fact that there are few people doing it in your office and it delays. I'm just talking about issues that discourage people from wanting to do the back door, because then allow people to be able to obtain any certificate in Apapa, the fake one. So what's the agency doing to fix this? I'll come, let me have the mic. Okay. Then to Son, I know that the PEBEC people came up with a program recently that's supposed to, NAVDAC, yes. I'll come to Son. PEBEC people came up with a program recently to enable the issuance of export certificates, NAVDAC number for product. Drug, one was 90, one was non-20. I don't know which one is 90, 120. 90 days for drug, and then 120 for food. Good. So how is it going in terms of 90? I have a client who is currently working on his own, on our own, and seems to have spent more than 90 days, number one. Number two, if I'm already having NAFDAC certificate as an exporter, and I'm going to export, I'm already having NAFDAC number for my product, and I'm going to export, sometimes they do ask for export certificate again for product and NAFDAC already certified with NAFDAC number. I would like to return to that question. Engineer, kindly help. Having spent 37 years in this sector, what are you doing, sir, for the upcoming exporter? Maybe a mentoring program, a training program, a support program that might be able to help upcoming exporter to be able to at least learn from your year of experience. For Sun, I know there are areas of overlap between Sun and NAFDAC. These have been brought up at different forums. People have talked about the fact that you guys are working on it. What is the status now of the fact that sometimes you have a product, NAFDAC is interested, and Sun is interested? And then I didn't hear you mention ManCap in your presentation, in your short, what you said. I would appreciate if you can educate us a little bit on that. Nexim, what are the products? You didn't mention that also. So if someone say, okay, I need Nexim, I want to export. So how do I approach Nexim? What are the products that Nexim have to offer? I want Mr. Kola to talk about we have signed the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and we need to begin to do a lot in Africa. I want you to share your experience. What do you think we should be looking at, considering your experience within the West Africa and Central African region as far as logistics is concerned? All right. NEPC, I won't have more questions for you, maybe for the audience, but I think the 4 areas you mentioned, I'm sure audience will have questions for you. Let me start from you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Manual issuance of phytosanitary certificates. Yes, up until now, some element of manual operation still goes on with NAQS. And that, again, has resulted in certain levels of delay. And I'll explain that. The way the country is structured as it is now, with regards to locations of the export processing areas, puts a lot of pressure on one section of the office. Now, about 95%, so to say, of export out of Nigeria leaves from Lagos. And so if we need to go by that, it means we need to move about maybe 80% of our workforce into Lagos. And that will keep the other areas porous. So when these export demands are made, certification demands are made, it puts pressure on the people in Lagos. Now, it's not all year round. The second problem is that export peaks at certain times. There are seasons for export. When it comes to the season for cashew, you got a whole load of papers coming for cashew. If it collides with that for ginger and hibiscus, the pressure comes on. So because we're still doing manual, yes, that puts pressure on us. But going forward, about 2012 thereabout, Custom came out with a program, a product, so to say, the single window project. And then every agency was supposed to key into that project. Trainings were done, but suddenly there was some kind of slow down again in the process. Otherwise, we're supposed to be on that hub where exporters can, from their conveniences, apply for most of this certification, and then we'll do a response.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. There is one that CBN is working on to commence in October. For NXP. So are you not going to be on the platform?
Very well. Now, CBN was just in our office at headquarters a week ago to give us a highlight on that NXP issue. Another meeting has been scheduled with them for Wednesday next week, where that is going to happen. Because we need to hook up to that hub so that when once export is going to happen, NXP has to be part of the document that needs to accompany that
will come to you.
Yes, it needs to come to us for us to be able to go ahead to do the certification. Because CBN is a revenue generating organization for the country. And so they need that. And then whatever they get from the NSP2 ultimately goes back to the exporter, from what I hear. So that is being worked out. And very shortly, we hope that we'll be able to do that electronically. Another problem that's associated with that again, when once you hit the electronic platform, a lot of other issues are tied around it.
Okay.
Network issues. We tried it with the Mexican connection. We're doing our certification to Mexico electronically. But when we have network failure, now there's no, we can't proceed. And most of the time, the exporter does not understand that. He just feels that, look, I've been waiting for the past 6 hours, you've not given my paper, why I tell him about network? And I tell them, you go to the bank sometimes, you put your ATM, there's not delivering money. Because he's telling you it's out of service. It's a national problem. So all those ones, again, I think we're looking at it and then see how we can all have it synchronized.
If you have electronic connection with Mexico, does it mean you don't have with other countries? Is it Mexico that designed that?
No. It's a bilateral thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bilateral thing. The whole of the member nations of IPPC are signatories to that convention. Now, IPPC itself has a hub where you're supposed to tie in and agree to do electronic exchange. Because you could do electronic exchange from the Nigerian end. If the receiving country does not have the backbone to do that, they're not going to receive it. So that has to be agreed. Well, once it's agreed, fine. Kenya has that one they have one with Netherlands for cut flowers. Ghana too does have with Netherlands for cut flowers. We have with hibiscus with Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, next week there's going to be a regional meeting back in Kenya to look at that if certification process again. But once they agree at the regional level, they'll present at the CPM, where the international body comes up, and then anybody that signs on to it will be forced to develop that backbone.
Okay, so if CBM puts you on this platform, at least on your side to be able to issue locally,
Very
probably
well.
be able to have, so that at the end of the day, I don't need to come to your office. I should be able to apply. Like today now, if I need certificate of origin from Nasima, I do it from my office. I log in, submit, and then they will, for you, your staff will have come to check. If they have come to check, I apply online. If I apply online, they come to do their check. If they're okay, having done whatever it is they have to do, then they issue.
Then
So it becomes easier for...
It's easier that way. But again, there's a snag.
Okay.
And it's a domestic snag. You see, when you do the platform and you tell somebody, hey, sit back at home, sit in your office, do it. Whether it's the time they just need to do that sitting down, or the inability to actually understand how to use electronics, they still come back to the office and request the staff in the office to go through the process.
That's okay. At least it will be done online in the office.
Yes.
It will be done
But
online in
then
the
that puts pressures on our own people too, because they're supposed to do something else. Why you're putting them on the system to do that for you?
All right.
So sensitization is going on that anyway.
Thank you very much. Let's now house together for NAQS. All right, NAFDAC.
Thank you. My question was actually on timelines.
Yes.
And that's timelines for registration of...
So from when I initiate the process
Okay.
till completion, provided all my... What are the things that cause delay? What we recommend? Those things that cause delay that will not make people able to meet up with that timeline also.
Most times why people don't meet the timelines is due to documentation. They don't compile their documents properly. Maybe if they're manufacturing, they don't have this, even the certificate of their production manager, or they don't even have his food handler's test. These are requirements which involves them sending their staff to the hospital to do probably yearly or bi-yearly tests. They don't do those things. So when you request for them, they would have applied, but they don't have the documents. Then they tell you NAFDAC is delaying. Yes, NAFDAC is delaying because some important documents need to be submitted, which you don't have. So whenever you have a compliance directive, the buck stops at that stage. So it's no longer, the time is no longer counting. Sometimes we have delays in the laboratory. We are an emerging organization. Yes, things have been done for the past 25 years or thereabout, but we still have some challenges as an organization. Apart from resources, staff, there are also some challenges with equipment. So sometimes we don't have standards, so it could require us getting those standards or requiring us probably releasing it on a fluff until we have the standards, then we go back to check. So a lot of things could be responsible for delays, not meeting the timelines. But as much as that exists, the Director General is supposed to ensure that most of our processes are done electronically. So you could go to the website www.nafdac.gov.ng. On the website, you will see our regulations. You will also see the guidelines. And in particular for exports, there is somewhere on the right-hand side of the page that talks about export policy. Under the export policy, to tell you that you require at least 28 days to begin and end your export process if you have a registered product.
If you have a registered
with number.
number.
Yes. Now, we are not talking about registration, which is 90 days for food and 120 days for drugs. We are now talking about you have a registered product and you want to export it. The process is going to take you a minimum of 28 days to do that.
Okay.
Now, I would ask this question because you are asking me questions, and I have been on this panel several times, and I'm fortunate to be in the midst of exporters. Now, how many people are exporters in this hall?
How many exporters are in the hall? Can you indicate, please? I can see some hands. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, what products do you export? Do you come through NAFDAC?
For the product, it depends.
Yes,
Okay.
for your export certificates. Listen, moderator, please
Yes.
just take note. How many people come through NAFDAC? What kind of certificates are you issued? What procedures do you take? I bet you less than 5% of this hall visits us. And another thing is, less than 2% of even the regulatory agencies that are supposed to ensure that they have this certificate leverage with us. So you see, it's one thing to keep on holding yearly, bi-yearly meetings, but if we are not implementing, we will still come back here next year and still do the same thing. So it's beyond just coming and saying we are holding meetings. I'm a practical person. If you say you are holding meetings, let's see the evidence that you are passing through the right procedure. It's not being done, and that's why we are suffering this reject. So my plea is, let's work together. If we are supposed to ensure that your registered product has the right documents, which involves the Nigerian Export Promotion Council certificate, which involves the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Services certificate, when you're coming to our offices, before we give you the export certificate, and you are not bringing them or you are not coming to the office, then how can we say we are going to formalize trade?
Okay, madam, I'm coming. Now, it's also important to know that some of the people in the room don't export.
No, if anybody has, let the person please come forward and justify.
I'm saying that they don't export process. Some export commodities.
We also handle raw and semi-processed commodities.
Raw commodity like cocoa?
Yes, because, excuse me, we handle sesame seeds, shea butter, all the raw commodities. We handle them, sir.
So does the regulation require that should be processed through NAFDAC?
Yes, sir.
For sesame seed?
Yes, sir.
Let me hear from Sakola.
So I think
Sorry,
we are raising questions and we might
sorry,
need
but
to
let me
address.
just make an input here. One of the things, when you're used to stand, one of the things you said is that it takes 28 days to issue the export certificate, and exporters are now coming to NAFDAC to process export certificate.
Yes, sir, I just said that.
Okay, let me tell you why.
Okay.
I export. I'm a manufacturer representative in the West Africa sub-region. I represent about 5 manufacturing companies that sell their products in West Africa. Let me tell you the reason why people will not come, and they will still not come.
You see?
I'll tell you. If you look at the requirements for the export certificate, one of the requirements is that you have to produce your invoice. Then you have to produce your packing list. Now look at it. I have loaded a truck today. I load a truck today. I get my invoice and packing list. My truck will wait for 28 days. My truck will wait for 20. You're not in the port, so that's why we don't have problem with the port. They've taken you out of the port for some time now. But my truck will have to sit down in the factory for 28 days while I take the invoice and the packing list, because until I load, I cannot have the actual packing list. So I now have to take those packing lists to NAFDAC and now drop the other documents, certificate of incorporation, NSP, and every other thing. Then I'll wait, and the truck driver is looking at me for 28 days. It's an average of 25,000 naira per day, demurrage. Then I have to wait. Then after 28 days, they now get it. And I say, truck, now go in. 28 days, my truck will have made 3 trips. But it's forced to bake, to sit there in one place for 28 days. That process, that documentation process, I support export certificate from the thing. But the documentation requirement should be looked into to include only the NSP and pro forma invoice, because pro forma invoice is an estimate of a contract. Okay, you're going to be within the region of this figure. Then we do it like that, then everybody will be able to walk back into NAFDAC and collect the export certificate. Yeah, I can have the certificate, even if you want to come and do inspection, because one of the process also is that while it's taking 28 days, you have to come to do the inspection for the GMP and other things there. So it's cumbersome. And as traders, that's why we say that when we look at a regulation and it is not impacting positively on trade, we should find a way of like touching that regulation to see where it can benefit trade. That export certificate process, the export certificate is benefiting, but the process is hindering trade. They need to look at that process.
To get your feedback, but it's unfortunate I'm getting it on this panel. No, Mr. Aware, we have worked severally, and I'm not aware of this lacuna, but I'm ready to work with you to streamline whatever you're saying. If you think there's something that is not working properly, then we need to work together. Because, well, it's not, the decision is not mine to take, but it is mine to take back. It's a feedback from the House. And if it's not a necessary document, we surely would close that gap and tighten the system. So we do not expect you to have loaded your consignment before you start the process. We expect you to initiate this process before you load your consignment. So if something has gone wrong and we are not aware, then you need to let us know, where things aren't working, and then we close this gap.
It will interest you to know that in the time past, NAFDAC is working at the land borders now. In the time past, they weren't as effective as they are now. I had about 7 trailers stopped. If they didn't stop that trailer, I would have gone back. And I told them it's the cumbersome nature of it that is making us avoid it sometimes. That is it. It's a recent development that I got to know, and that's why I'm just bringing it out in this forum.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I was actually asking some of those questions, what he raised about the fact that I feel 28 days is a long time. I don't know what is being done during that period. You want me to tell you what is being done? No, during that period. Yes, I feel it's a long time.
Please, let me just tell you.
Okay.
So that warehouse inspection.
I'm amused by over document. For me, I one thing, he's not even there at the tip of his fingers, the things he required to go through export. I would rather not bother too much if I'm exporting about too much regulations in Nigeria than the country I'm exporting to, because even if you satisfy all the regulations here,
and you mess up the
when it gets there and they say, we are sorry, sir, all this wala is too much. We are over-regulated, over-documented. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, ma, and I respect your agency. I would say I'm part of government because I'm a resource person to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council for the past 7 years. So I will support anything that government wants to do. But if there are ways we can remove all these bottlenecks, it will make business better. I've had my product registered for the past 20 years in Nigeria. Do you know that just to renew, it has taken me 3 years to renew my numbers again. Not 120 days they are telling you, 990 days, so I'm telling you practically. 2 years before they said we have approval. It's renewal. They've come to my factory to inspect, they look at flow chart, I know all the whatever. After 2 years that it's been approved, the second year is approved. Now to get the certificate, even to touch it in your hand, to hold it in your hand. We've been pursuing this for the past 9 months. Something is approved. They've given me the number. Where is the certificate now? I wouldn't bother to look for certificate if Adidas, Spa, ShopRite do not ask me, Oga, we need to see that certificate too, because NAFDAC can come and raid us. I wouldn't bother. But now to get the certificate, 9 months again. You've given me a number, it's approved. Where's the certificate? Something. Stories. I have to call director in Abuja. How can I get this certificate? Okay, I will call somebody. So there's no one, I don't believe in 120 days and 90 days. I've been on it for 3 years. Renewal, not first time registration, no, the same product. Something has to shift. If you want us to do business in a profitable manner in Nigeria. But that's not even the question you posed at me, sir.
Yes.
I was a side issue, all right? What am I doing to help people coming from behind?
Yes.
Like I tell people wherever I have a chance to either lecture, either in US or here, at the point in my life, it's all about legacy. It's no longer about money. I thank God for where I've lived my life up to now. I don't even run my business anymore. My children have given me a chair. They say, sit down. You are chairman. You know what he mean? Sit down, they look. Don't touch money anymore. Don't do this. I thank God. Because that's the prayer we all pray, that we get to a point in our life that our children can take over from us. So my children run the European operations, the US operations, and maybe in South America with somebody. They are running it fine. But what I'm saying is that the legacy is the issue you raised indirectly. What's my legacy? Part of it is what I'm doing with Nigerian Export Promotion Council. We went around looking at people that were ready for export in 2014. When we visited their factory, we find their problems were they are operating with fairly used generator or fairly used equipment, but NEPA will go, product will spoil in the process. They have to throw the product away. They were losing money. And we're talking about small and medium scale. And I lamented then, I said, Nigeria get problem more. And one of the directors said, Oga, please, engineers don't lament. They find solutions in other countries. So I came up with the development of a commercial solar dryer, which we have been using to facilitate undergraduates, graduates, retired civil servants throughout the 36 states of Nigeria. We've gone around 36 states. We are repeating it because you are preaching salvation sermon. Salvation sermon has been preached for the past 1 million years. Jesus is coming back, yes? We are going to keep on preaching it in Nigeria as well. Because we are losing over 3 trillion naira post-harvest in this country. Yeah. Whether it's on tomato, mango, we are losing it. And our youth can tap into that. So what I'm doing, number one, like our NEPC madam said, I'm part of a program to reorientate our people in another way to start making money. Not to be a politician and not to be oil and gas. All right? Number two, I've been a mentor on Tony Elumelu for the past 4 years. Sometimes I need a break for myself as well. Because it's not only in Nigeria that I have to talk and give lectures. I'm dashing next week now, back to US for another 2 weeks, then dash back here for NEPC. So I'm mentoring as well. But most importantly, this is where it's relevant to you people sitting down there. Everybody think that I want to export. If you're going to be a first-time exporter, you are going to have problem. And let me be honest with you. Because you cannot know the regulations more than somebody who has been operating there for 5, 6, 7, 10 years. So why don't you just take a seat back and say, okay, who is a Nigerian or somebody exporting to that place already?
To work with.
Go under him. Start exporting through him. You know, Nigerians, we are very much in a hurry. I want to make my $1 million. Let me shock you in this all today. Every 3 days, on plantain chips, you know Ikeja? You know plantain chips?
Yes.
Is it difficult to make?
No.
Every 3 days I sell a container, 40 foot, not 20 foot, of plantain chips in London. Before it arrives, the money is in my pocket. Somebody now left here, he went to go and set up a by themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that's also the whole idea of working together, so that if you are working together in a group, those that already know is good. Anytime I go locally, cannot compete. As in, people producing locally, so I can understand what you're saying about that person. People producing locally, if they're going to do the quality and packaging that he is doing, they will be calling locally 250. And if you are going to export anything to the UK, you know that if you are selling it, if the cost is £1 in Nigeria, if that thing is sold for £4 in the UK, you know your cost, export cost, cannot be more than £2. It has to be below £2 because of other costs that will happen. And so you can convert it to Naira, 60p, 0.6 pounds, and someone will be selling locally 250, 300, well-packaged mannequin to the standard that he's doing. So obviously, I'm basically saying there is a secret to that make him to be able to reduce that cost significantly that I think anybody going to plantain need to learn. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, son, you want to say something? Okay, I'll come to you.
You asked a question about ManCap.
ManCap, yes.
ManCap is a program designed specifically for locally produced products. It was done deliberately because we introduced another program we call SONCAP that is for the imported products. So WTO say you cannot put a barrier for imported goods and then allow your local goods to go free. So ManCap was introduced as a complement of the SONCAP. And the ManCap is done for the locally manufactured goods. And it's a certification process. And it is done within a period of 60 days. And SON on its own has not fixed any criteria for export. We have not put any criteria for export. It's you that come to us and tell us that, look, I want to export to this country, and they want your certification. So when you tell us that, we push in our team, they will go and do it and give you your certificate. But what we have done with the ManCap is such that its validity period is for 3 years. And when you get a ManCap certificate within 45 to 60 days, it lasts for 3 years. And we go to your factory every 3 months to assure us that you are still doing the right thing. And if you are doing the right thing, your ManCap certificate is still valid for export if any country requires it. And for validation, 3 months before it expires, just for you to tell us, my certificate will expire in 3 months, which accommodate that 60 days. And once you come to us, you will get it. We're even trying, presently it is done, most of the process are manual, but we're doing the electronic format of it, which is on the test side now, that we could also do 30 days. You put in the application online, that will eliminate buying a form. You are not going to buy a form, you fill a form online. The standards will be applied. The only time that will require physical visit is a physical inspection, which will be agreed between the staff of SON and you. So if you are not ready, you are the one delaying the process. So there's no fixed thing. It's you that requests us, Ghana want a certificate from the standard body in Nigeria. We come in at your defined time. We test within the shortest time. But even if you have, sometimes we don't even need to test. If you have your ManCap certificate, present your ManCap certificate to them, it will work. Some countries, we specifically want what they call product type certificate, which is almost the same with the ManCap. We go pick the samples, test, and that one takes, for testing, doesn't last more than a week, and you will get your certificate. For the perceived overlap, the two executives of the two organizations are working on it, particularly for the food products.
And chemicals.
Yes. The chemicals where the challenge comes is mainly on the imported side.
Yeah.
And we're streamlining the HS code so that there will be no overlap. Presently, I superintend the import. So if I see any importer, and I'm telling you here, if an importer that is importing a chemical and there seems to be an overlap and you have a NAFDAC import permit, do our application online and attach that in NAFDAC import permit, and it's overridden.
Okay.
And later, ask the people here, they'll give you my number. If it's not overridden within 2 working days, the desk officer of that unit is here. The thing is electronic. You don't need to go to any SON office. Call the numbers. If they don't respond, call me. I will hold them responsible why they are not responding.
All right.
And so on the overlaps, we're working on them. In the local manufacturing process, the certification process, on our part, 15,000. I don't know what.
Alongside.
Okay. My name is Abiodun Oyefeso. I'm Vice Chairman, Export Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, and also I'm a member board member of the U.S. Nigerian Trade Council in Atlanta, Georgia. I have the following questions. Number one, the past 2-3 years, we used to organize a program in the U.S. We call it an export boot camp in the U.S., and I'm usually the lead facilitator. Now, at the end of this, a lot of people want to do business with Nigeria. They want to export to the U.S. They keep on asking me, why is Nigeria so difficult in the issue of documentation? Now, the question I want to ask is that can't we have a kind of a one-stop shop as we have for the import? A place where you can get all the documentation, everything at once, so that the issue of redocumentation of this process does not come. So that's the first. Now, my first question goes to the NAFDAC. Now, any products, in the US, NAFDAC is not recognized. In UK, so what most people whom we train do is that they have a consultant in the States that help them to do their documentation to make sure their products are accepted. So what is the government doing? Now, the question I'm asking is that what is the synergy between NAFDAC and other similar agencies in UK and in US? Because if you see Indomie in US, on the carton is written FDA. Without it, it cannot sell in the States. So if NAFDAC is not acceptable in some of these countries, so the issue is that what are we doing to synergize with this organization so that product rejection can be stopped? Then another one is the NAQS. Now, the first thing I want to ask is that what is the official cost of getting, plant quarantine certification, and how long does it take? Now, in the issue of vegetables now is this, must you own a farm of a vegetable before that commodity can be exported, or must you buy, from people before that is done? Then the next question is the issue of fish. Now, who regulates catfish export? Is it NAFDAC or the Institute of Oceanography or Marine Research? Thank you.
All right. So let's take number 2. NAFDAC, I'm sure you've noted it. Okay.
My name is Comrade Mike Onilude.
Sorry, NEPC, you help us with that one-stop shop documentation, so you can take that. Okay. And so you talk about it when we finish the questions. Yes.
My name is Comrade Mike Onilude, and I represent John Tudi Interbiz, a member of
John?
the Lagos Tudi Interbiz.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm also a member of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I don't want to take issue with the NAFDAC people, but madam, I think maybe NAFDAC should go back, maybe do a thorough homework. How they present or how they reject when bringing goods for anything, either for testing or that. I will see you one-on-one, maybe I'll tell you more and more what I've experienced. But I want to mention one thing, because the biscuit from NEPC, let me thank you, madam. God bless you. NEPC is a showpiece. I'm part of this very, very organization. It's the only government agency that
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Number 3.
NEPC. And part of what we're told there is, one, traceability for most things that you take out. My concern, I don't know which agency, but I think NEPC should be able to do something. SON will tell you, before you even go and farm at all, before you till the land, you must get some specification. NAQS is there, and then you are even just confused of what to do. Can there be a document that says before you go from here to here, this is the agency that you must meet first. This is the next agency. And then you now have people, because they were talking of so many certifications.
No, madam, can you be more specific so that they can answer? As a farmer, are you talking about the agency you need to go to for you?
No,
okay.
No. I am doing that program to be an exporter.
Okay.
She trades. And Nigeria has four produce. There is spice, there is, yes. So I went there as an exporter. I do ginger. Now, the truth is, they are now telling you what you must do, because there are mandatory certificates and non-mandatory. And every agency were now talking what you do. And at a time, we all became confused. What I'm now saying is that, isn't it possible for these agencies to have a documentation where we even know before you start farming? Because they're talking mainly about traceability, and that's why so many products are being
So you
rejected.
mean documentation on traceability?
No.
A procedure?
And who? Procedure. Who and who? Is it son that comes first? Is it NAQS? Because when they talk of traceability, even before you produce, you must be sure of where you source your raw material.
Okay, so
And
NPC
many
will address
things.
the question.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you.
Number 4. Number 4. So, madam, you have two questions. You have two questions.
Good afternoon. I'm Olubemiga Ojo. I'm from Lakenburg LLC, Washington, D.C. My question is on the synergy between, my question has been asked, but I'm going to elaborate on it. The synergy between the NAFDAC and the FDA. Because we all understand that whatever is approved for export in Nigeria doesn't guarantee it's going to get into America. And in a situation whereby all the regulatory requirements are complied with here in Nigeria, and you get there, a significant percentage of those products are still returned. It leads to losses to the exporters, to whoever is participating in the business. So I would want to get a clarity on what NAFDAC is doing. Is it, I understand that NAFDAC and some other regulatory agencies travel abroad to the UK, to all of these countries for courses and all, but at the moment, we want to see the significance of that on the export trade activities from Nigeria. Thank you.
All right. Number 5. Who is number 5?
Number 5. Okay, I'll bring the mic to you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. My name is Ikbong Umo. I represent Stella Chem Nigeria Limited. We are active in doing finished cosmetic products, which is 100% natural. My question has to do with MANCAP. And maybe we need to ask here about the relationship between MANCAP and ISO. And the overlap between NAFDAC and MANCAP. We in cosmetics for a long time have maintained that MANCAP is a replica of NAFDAC. Whether you call it certification or licensing or whatever, the process is the same. In fact, it's even worse off in MANCAP, in that when they come, they expect you to be revealing these products. What people are looking at is not NAFDAC, is not SUNCAP, is not MANCAP, neither ISO. They are looking for something called Global Gap Certification and Rainforest Alliance.
Global Gap?
Yes.
Okay.
So for us, so my question here is this, sir. Some of these regulations have not been thoroughly discussed with the stakeholders. Sometimes you come, the regulations just come. You must do this, you must do that. And they are disadvantaging us. If we have to do all these things, MANCAP, NAFDAC, and all that, your product may not even, like somebody said, the best regulation, the best documentation is to get it from there. So I would rather want NAFDAC and SON to preoccupy themselves with how they can assist SMEs to make their products better, to be able to earn revenue for the country, and not just earn revenue for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Princess Abiodun Elegushi Anifalaje. My question is on documentation. I just wanted to know the process of documentation discussed here this morning. Is it the same thing you go through when exporting gemstones and solid minerals? Because I know that we have Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to contend with. Are we also going to go through this procedure? Thank you.
Mr. Kola can attend to that, so you can also answer your question alongside.
Number 7.
Number
Thank
7.
You, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Larry Lawal, Hagscope International. Precisely, I want to know what Nigerian Export Promotion Council is doing about assisting people who, upcoming exporters, to reach the market in Europe and other parts of the world. Precisely, we have a situation in Nigeria where people from Asia, especially Chinese, they normally come over, penetrate the market, meet the farmers, and dictate the price for which they have to sell their goods. And Nigerians are shouting, they want to be part of the business, they want to export too. But because they don't have the contact there, if they have the contact there, sometimes you have a reputational issue. Most people, if you are in Nigeria, they can't even trust you to say, okay, we need this and we can buy from you. So what is Nigeria Export Promotion Council doing about this? Thank you.
Okay, before she answered, one of the things that might help you with that is what engineer talked about, working with someone who already have that reputation to be able to start, so that you can, through that gain reputation, to be able to. So let's start from NPC, then Mr. Kola, then Nexim, then Son, and then we go to the other side. Let's start from you, ma. Okay. Madam, can you bring the mic?
I'll start with creating awareness on synergy between the various agencies. I'm sure we are aware of the presidential order, executive order, on ease of doing business here. Are we aware of that? Very good. And I also want to inform the House here today that we have a platform, domiciled in Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, where 28 agencies, including immigration, customs, foreign affairs, are domiciled. What is the purpose of this one-stop shop? To make it easy for you for all these things you are complaining about, your documentation. We have a platform where we share information, where we do procedures, and then there is this committee that was set up for the soil. They even have to tell you, is this soil suitable for this particular product? That's not our purview, but we have idea. On the issue of the FDA certification, we are just trained a batch, I'm sure you are aware, in a Sheraton Hotel. We trained over 200 exporters on how to get the FDA. And we even brought it back home to our NEPC office. We trained about 40 again. We brought experts on this platform again, African Growth Opportunity Act. We invited some foreign nationals who have been accessing that particular trade fora to help you do what? Learn on mentorship. They will hold your hand. They will teach you. I'm happy John Tudi is here. He's one of our trainees. He is one of our trainers. He has been helping us to do what? Train those who have been desiring to go into export, and they desire to go into the American market because he is a successful player there. Thank God for our big player here in the UK market. So what are we waiting for? Latch upon all these opportunities. Make something out of it. And finally, the one that asked on how do we help to reach market, it is numerous. We have platforms. Our website is even one of them. There's a one we created during our zero export packaging. There's a platform we created there. Come put in your details there. And not only that, we also take you out for international trade fairs. But before we take you out, there's something we do. We call it selection process. You must be export ready. Do you have export culture? We don't just carry any bag and baggage and then we begin to push you to the outside world. We must be sure that you've met the required minimum standard. Then you can take it up from there. We don't only stop there, we do product development. Like I had earlier mentioned, we work with Technology Incubation Center. There is a particular product that came to our office, beautiful, but roughly packaged. what is the name? Seaway. We helped her to get this barcode, how to get, you are aware of the woman. She's doing wonders. When we went to Ghana Trade Fair, all her products were sold. You are aware. So we incubate, we teach you, not us, but with sister agency. So there is a kind of synergy between all of us. But the meeting point is when you are export ready, come to us, we refer you to the relevant agency, and then push you up from there. And finally, we do mentorship. That's what I want to discuss with Daddy. Please, sir, I crave your indulgence after this program, because we're doing it also in Lagos here. We are doing mentorship program, where we'll now bring those that are ready to export to those that have already exported. We match make and we monitor. So our exporters here today, Nigerian Export Promotion Council is here to assist you. We are here to help you. And our agencies here, all of them, they are key, especially customs. We help you, we assist you, we promote you, and at the end, when you get it right, we have an incentive for you. But I'm not going to talk on incentive. Should I?
No. Now, you mentioned NIPC. I know NIPC have that platform, but does it mean an exporter have access to that NIPC platform? Yes. Unless a regular, because I thought it was mainly for those that are coming to invest in Nigeria.
No.
Yeah?
It is a gathering.
Is it just information portal? Because what he is saying is, he's looking for, when he said one-stop shop, what they are looking at is, if I'm going to export, I don't need to move from quarantine in Ikeja, custom in Apapa, Nasima in Ikeja. No. I want to go to a place. In that house, everything I need to process, NAFDAC, SON, SON, that's what they're talking about. So,
yes.
One-stop shop there is all the processing, but I want to do the process, but I want them to be in a room. So I move from room to room. In a day or two, I can finish, and then I can continue my project.
Very good, my dear brother. I thank God for this particular enlightenment you are giving us now. People that are coming from outside, they leverage on this. But those that are in Nigeria, they don't. Yes, I spoke with my officer who she called me and said, yes, please, educate them. Let them know that that platform is not only for those that are coming from
Madam,
outside.
it's like you have not gotten my question, no.
It's empty.
The platform you're talking about now, I know it. I'm talking about if I want to export now.
Yes.
I want to process NXP. There is a bank in that building. I walk to the bank and process my NXP. From there, I can go to Cobalt and process my, pay my next fee. Then I go to quarantine to come and do what I need to do. Then I go to Nasima to do in the same building.
That is what I'm trying to explain.
What you are explaining.
Presidential ease of doing business is working on that.
That I can understand that, but the NFPC you're talking about online is not what the exporters are talking about.
The online side is even for those that are coming for the first time, the new entrants. But you that is already on the ground,
yes,
you want to now have ease in doing your business. There is an executive order to that effect, and it's being processed.
But you know, executive order is violated in this
country. We're already doing it, oh. Sincerely speaking, madam can bear me witness.
All right, I will come to.
Okay, so no now.
Okay, let's do some Kakula. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kola, you talk about the AFCFTA and export challenges and what you think people that can do about the export market in West Africa and Central Africa before you answer your question. Before you answer the question that I directed to you.
Okay, then I'll do that.
I just want to leverage your experience within West Africa.
I know.
Okay.
I'll do that, but I just want to make a contribution because I'm more of a practical person than a solution provider. When we talk about problems, I look for the solution to the problems. Because we can stay and talk about all the problems, and at the end of the day, the people will not know how to go about it. There are some problems that will not go. There's a problem that will stay with us. And the truth of the matter is that we must still export. And more exporters will come into the industry. So there must be a way for solution. Somebody was asking, NAQS was talking about the delay in NAQS. I'm surprised that people can be really talking about the delay. You will talk about delay in NAQS because your export transaction is not well planned. NAQS is very simple. The reason you will wait to do your NAQS is because you want to know the exact vessel that will carry your container. And the moment you drop your container, you can request for your shipping instruction. On the shipping instruction, you have the vessel name. And that means you have gotten your shipping instruction, then you approach NAQS and do that. The vessel is still just not yet loaded, but the vessel has been planned, and the SI has been issued to you. Take that SI, go and fill your hold. You have 7 days. The vessel will come, offload, load, and go. Within that space of time, you will have done your what? Your plant quarantine certificate. Let us, if you understand the industry, you plan it very well, you find out that some of these issues are not be there. We're talking about single window. In the port, we have what they call the export seat. In the export seat, all the agencies are there. You move from one table, two, NDLEA, DSS. It's just recently that they've taken away some of the agencies out of the port. Otherwise, all of them were at the port. Once you get to the export seat, you just do your documentations and you go. Many times we are the problems to ourselves. We don't want to do documentation. We are too lazy to fill forms. So let me just go to the African Continental Free Trade Area. It is good. I won't just give my opinion on that right now. I'll just talk about it. I seem to have a little bit different opinion because I don't want to talk about it. It is a nice concept, but the manufacturing industry in Nigeria, and what I mean by manufacturing industry, I mean the SME. The SME has to wake up to the realities of this agreement. That is the truth of the matter. We have to wake up, and we have just 1 year between now and June, when the implementation, 31st of June or July? July, yeah. Now it's going to less than a year. We have that short period to re-energize our SMEs. If we do not do that, most of our SMEs, we won't see that we are seeing today, we won't see them anymore. 1.2 billion market, very wonderful market, but 80% of them are looking at the 200 million that is here. That is the truth of the matter. And the 200 million that is here should be able to develop their product to the extent that they can look at the 800 or 1 billion that is outside there. So what do? You see, there's a disconnect now. But when we look at our products, some of our Nigerian products are not even ready for the Ghana market. If you see Ghana package their product and you see the way we package our product, you find out that we're not really ready. So there's a lot of responsibility for SME to survive now. I think there's a wake-up call on all the associations. All the associations should stand up to this call now, within 1 year. Let us work together. Enough of I can do it on my own. Let us work together. I'll give you the power of strength. We do zero to export. One of our trainees got a contract for $150,000 contract. And we executed that contract with the man himself investing only 2 million naira. We got the balance money from other cooperatives to execute that money for that transaction for him. His only investment is 2 million naira. So what am I saying? For us to succeed in the AFCTA, we need to come together. It is a must that we must come together. It is a must that NASIMRA, Lcci, all the association should move away from the advocacy side and go ahead into the facilitation side. There's nothing wrong. I was discussing with my very good sister from NAFDAC. There's nothing wrong if we have NASIMA Export Incubation Center, like Lagos City Chambers of Commerce Export Incubation Center, where we can sit down and actually take the products through all the processes from labeling to packaging to production to the targeting the export market under the control of all agencies who will be part and parcel of that incubation center. That is the way we can move into the AFCTA. But if we work on our own on a solo basis, the people that will take advantage of the AFCTA are the big companies. They don't need anybody. They are ready. Their products are already going in there. Already, their products are going, so they don't really need anybody. But what is their population? The Man Export Group is less than 150 companies. But if you go to NASI, I don't know the number, endless. If you go to NASME, we have endless. If you go to NASIMA Expo, we have endless lists. So
about 40 million now, according to NASME. 40 million MSME.
That's me, 40 million. That's what we're saying. We won't see this 40 million if NASME does not wake up and bend over and start doing some sacrifice for his members. We have started it in the export group. We have procured FDA. We have procured barcodes at 50% the cost. We have procured trademarks. By Monday, without any government support, we're taking 12 exporters to Turkey. We didn't ask government for any kobo. I didn't go to NEPC. It didn't come to anywhere. We're taking them for the World Food Fair. Those that have products that can meet up, we're taking them to the food fair without government intervention. Agencies, associations should start working like that now, between now and next year. Otherwise, Morocco will send in that product. Egypt will send in that product. They will send in the same product that you're producing. They will send it into Nigeria. And the price will compete with you because they are going to come in what? Zero duty. They are going to come in at zero duty. So my take on this AFCTA is I've dovetailed the body back to the associations, back to the private sector. The private sector should be the driver of the AFCTA, not the government. The regulation will continue to be there. We can't run away from regulations. But when you come in as a group and you approach an agency, like we did with FDA, I approach FDA and I tell them, see, I'm bringing in 15 people for you to do their product. And I know this is how much you take to do the product. And I said, I'm bringing crowd. And they said, it's okay. Okay, how much is it going to be? Give me 50% the cost. That is the way it should go. We should have incubation centers for exports, not by government. Government can come in and give you generator. Government can come in and give you subsidy on machine. Government can come in, but the initiative should start from us. Share butter incubation center, cosmetic incubation center, Gary incubation center, this one, in a place. And that is the direction I hope and I pray that they will go. AFCTA is good. It's going to open up the market for so many people. Export is going to thrive. This is the season for what? For export. But we need to get ourselves ready to take advantage of that. A lot of countries will be looking at Nigeria. Nigeria is also looking at a lot of the big market. There's a lot of opportunities, even in terms of logistics. The road is going to open up. Duty-free in so many countries, but do we really have the product? So we need to develop the product. Otherwise, we continue with our raw export. I can start doing the export of ginger again to Egypt. Egypt will start taking my ginger duty-free. So it's cheaper for Egypt to buy my ginger because it's going to arrive at duty-free than buy it from any other country. That is the advantage. Then we start doing sesame seed again. Sesame seed is easier because ginger is almost in every country. China has ginger. China has hibiscus flower. They have sesame seed. But when they are coming to Africa now, it will be 20% or 15% duty. But within Africa, it's because what? Zero duty. So it's better for them to come and buy our raw. So economy is what? We'll be suffering and get out of this sleeping stance that we have taken. Thank you very much.
Next him.
Yeah, Kola, you've said quite a lot. There's something that almost everybody has mentioned, which is experience. You know, experience. Experience is the best teacher. You know, because we are talking to exporters here now. It's always good for you to learn the business before you take a big dive. It's good for you to have that experience. You know, go through somebody that has done it before, pick up a few things, and now launch out. Now, for the products that we have, because I have to link the two, the products that we have to offer to exporters, we want to be sure that you understand exactly what you want to do. And in some cases, we even ask for past performance. Because if you don't understand what you want to do and you come to collect money, remember the money is not free, it's not a grant. You come to collect money, there will be some weight on you. So we prefer to deal with people that understand what they're doing, they've gone through the ropes, they know what certification that they need, they know all the steps. So by the time you borrow from the bank, you are ready to go. Just on the side, somebody has gone outside and signed, let me mention it, somebody has gone and signed a contract to export a particular product. And he comes back to us in Nexim, he says, I want to borrow. What do you want to export? He says he wants to export a particular product. Where are you going to get it from? I don't know. You know, so, yeah. I don't know. Oh, you don't even know where to get this product from, and you've gone and signed a contract already, and you now want to borrow money. So please, let's do our homework well, before we begin to carry additional weight of borrowed funds. Now, the way our funds come, we finance export, like I said. It could be funds to export manufactured products in Nigeria. It could be for commodity trading. It could be for agro-allied processed. It could be for solid minerals and what we call services. So these funds will come short and long term, short, medium, and long term. I cannot begin to talk about each and every one of them, but I will advise that all the products and services that we have, if you go to our website, I would prefer you go through each and every one of the products. You know how it fits into what you want to do or what you are currently doing. If you need any further clarifications on that, we have a regional office in Ikeja on Gerard Road, 18A Gerard Road. But I prefer you go into our website and you see all the products that we have. If you identify the one that fits whatever it is that you want to go into, we can discuss more on that.
1 minute.
Yeah, well, just 1 minute. Sorry, please. Somebody asked a question on the export documentation for solid minerals. Am I correct?
Yes.
Sorry, Mel. I think she's very busy talking.
Princess.
Okay, you asked a question on export documentation, whether it's the same thing. No, solid minerals, the pre-export documentation is same thing, but pre-export permit is different. Like we have export permit for NAFDAC, so we have export permit for solid minerals. It's called Form J. When you go to the cadastral office, you tell them you are an exporter and you want to have a permit to export because you're not prospecting or you're not mining. So you need an export permit to be able to export that particular product that you want to export. And it's called Form J. If you go to the cadastral office, you will see a sample of that form there. Thank you very much.
All right. I understand our time is fast spent, so just summary, sir.
The man from the cosmetic group, one word of assurance again. All the products under cosmetics are exempted from MANCAP. And if any member of SON come to your factory to bug you with MANCAP on cosmetics,
please call Oga.
I'm the one responsible, and you know. The standards that were made for cosmetic, you were part of it. I led that thing. So anybody coming to you, refer the person to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Short and sharp.
Yes. I think you have a question. Yes, about 3 of them. Quickly, questions relating to fees.
Fees and duration.
Yeah, costs of certification, and whether the vegetable farmer must have a farm, or exporter must have a farm, and who regulates fish. Yeah, for now, oceanography does the regulation on fish. So when you want to do anything regarding the fish and fish product, just talk to the oceanography crew. Vegetable exporter and
regulating processed fish or the. So where does NAFDAC come in? We'll talk about that. Okay.
All right. For the vegetable sector, NAQS requires that you have a farm, either by yourself as an exporter, or you have what we call a contract farmer. That is important because for everywhere you're going to get your vegetables from, for the purpose of export, NAQS must have an inspector on that facility. Because all through the growing process, through to export, there are certain treatment regimes that you must go through for us to be able to do a certification for that vegetable. So if you don't have a farm of your own, you need to have a contract farmer, and that NAQS must know, so that we can follow up on this inspection prior to export. If you do not have and you go buy from the market, we will not do certification for it. Why? Because there are so many implications that come with the ones you buy straight from the market. Cost of certification varies. And what NAQS charges, as it were, is not revenue per se. It's called user fee. And so they are very, very minimal. In fact, the whole system, NAQS charges the cheapest of it, as it may be. It might surprise you to know that if you were exporting probably a container of ginger or maybe something like sesame and cocoa, 20-footer container, it will just cost you about 1,500 naira. And so it graduates with the quantity that you export. But there's nothing you're going to export that you're going to be paying up to 1 million. It's not just possible. Now, if more information on that you can find on our website too. All the user fee regime is stated on the website for every commodity. Somebody did mention something about the same vegetable. Global gap that somebody mentioned here is becoming a fundamental and basic requirement for export of agro-commodities. Production and good product at the end of every system starts from the planting. If you use wrong seeds, bad seeds, and you plant them, there is no way you're going to get good product at the end of the day. So some farms are falling under the certification of Global Gap now. They come in, they evaluate your farm, they see that, okay, yeah, you're in compliance with all the practices. Site selection, clearance, regil, weeding, pest management, everything falls under the Global Gap protocol. In basic agriculture, we'll call them cultural practices. It's things that normally we learn at the basic secondary school level for agriculture.
Maybe the person can see you afterwards because my...
Okay.
Yeah,
one of the Princess Lcci did ask something about solid mineral. Now, there are issues again that come with some of these things where overlapping comes in. There are some countries that tell you, please, don't bring in anything that has soils with them. Well, once they have soils, those countries will require you to get a phytosanitary certificate from NAQS. Because soils now become what we call pathways for movement of a pest across international borders. And because these pests don't need to have to get visas before they cross from one country to the other, you have to take care of them from the beginning.
So you give them the visa?
We'll try to regulate them.
All right, now, Doc.
Thank you. Please, I have a plea.
Okay.
And it's for the organizers of this program. I'll please want them to go to our website, like I said earlier, and take that document, that export policy document, look at it, critique it.
You can give a feedback?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not give me a feedback. Write to the agency.
Okay.
Write to the DG with your comments on the document.
Chairman.
And if possible, even book
there's a
an
recommendation for you, sir.
Please, I said I will recommend that you should go to that website, www.nafdac.gov.ng. Take the export policy documents there. Please, as a group, evaluate it, critique it, and give us your feedback. You can send it to the DG directly, or you could send it via a letter. If possible, also book an appointment to meet with her and, talk to her on your feedback. Why did I say that? The private sector is actually the one supposed to drive regulations. So we have done these regulations, and we expect by now, because it's been there for about a year, you should have looked at those regulations and given us your feedback. But since you haven't done that, I'm using this opportunity to please talk to you to do that, and I'm sure it will be looked into.
All right. Thank you very much.
So do I have your commitment for that?
Chairman.
Thank you. Now, I'll go to the questions that were posed to me. And they were talking about the need for a one-stop shop. Our sister from Nigerian Export Promotion Council says there's something ongoing, but I will be frank with you, madam, I'm not aware of that. I'm sure if I was, we would not take that lead to start trying to initiate a kind of one-stop shop.
Okay,
Yes, we started on the 9th of August. And we actually invited the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, but they were not at that meeting. But I know that my DG is talking to your DG, so we can move from there. So let's believe that a one-stop shop will soon come on board. Then the other thing I would like to talk about is the synergy. The man who came in as a consultant from the US is saying, what's the synergy between UK and US and NAFDAC? Okay, let me give you a little bit of scenario. In the US, the registered products. In the EU, they don't register products. They do self-regulations. But in Nigeria, because we followed the US FDA when we're developing the system, we register products. Now, what is the synergy between all of us? The synergy between all of us is the Codex Alimentarius Commission. That's where we all meet, where we are over 188 members with non-governmental organizations and observers in that meeting. And that's where consensus are based, decisions are taken on requirements. But we have what we call voluntary and non-voluntary regulations. The mandatory ones are the standards. The non-voluntary ones are the technical barrier to trade. So because I want to protect my trade in my country, maybe in the US, I will put some quality or labeling requirements and say, no, if it doesn't meet this particular requirement, you can't come up. Now, these are not discussed at Codex. So that's where, sometimes you develop general regulations and standards at Codex, but I'll still go back and have special EU requirements. Why? Because I know that you have these resources in abundance in your country, and you want to flood my markets. So I will come up with technical barriers to trade. These things cannot be discussed via standards. It involves negotiation. So that's why sometimes, even though we have agreed on the standards, other member countries or individual countries can decide to come up with some technical regulations that would hinder trade. But if it happens like that, then the WTO might be the one that would look into the situation. Then another question came up on fish. Yes, the issue of fish to be exported to the US is actually, if it is catfish, it is slurry-form. And slurry-forms are banned. Export of slurry-forms into the US is banned. Why? Because there's a particular technique that they need to kill the fish. They don't want you to just, what we call it in Nigeria is point and kill. Abroad, they don't want you to do point and kill. They don't, they are particular about animals. They don't want you to suffer the animals. So there's a technique, a procedure that they want you to engage before you kill. And because of that, they are not accepting any processed slurry form from Nigeria to the US. But it is the Ministry of Fisheries that is actually responsible for the export of fish.
Okay, so if I process a fish, I don't need NAFDAC for me to be able to export it?
Export, no.
Okay.
But I bet you
today,
yes, you do. But as of today, they don't. If you export it to the US, they would confiscate it and recall it. So that's what is happening in the US currently.
All right. Thank you very much.
No, I'm not done. You gave me a lot of questions. You gave me a lot of questions. Another one says, what's the overlap between NAFDAC and FDA? I think I just explained that. Then overlap between NAFDAC and MANCAP. Well, we are at the table. We could not solve the problem of overlap. We are now with the PEBEC, and it is still ongoing. However, I will plea that we should work together. Why should we work together? Because sometimes, the government develops NAFDAC, the government also set up SON. And I cannot tell SON, don't do your work. SON cannot tell me, don't do my work. And since the issue is with the presidency, what I would, as an individual, would recommend is that we should work together. Why? We are over 200 million Nigerians, and I'm sure we don't have a staff strength of up to 6,000 in both organizations. So how would we conveniently manage these products in trade and ensure that what we are eating is safe and of good quality? So I believe we should try to form a synergy and work together so that on the long run, whatever is being traded within Nigeria and exported will be of good quality.
Madam, sorry, another question from Andres. Maybe the person
no
will
other
see you.
question.
Okay.
No other question.
Can we put our hands together for our
Thank
panelists,
you.
please? It's been a very interesting panel. Thank you very much for your valuable contribution. Our time is fast spent. Thank you very much. I can hand over to you.
Please, let's give them a round of applause. It has been a wonderful, fascinating session. And I'm sure that we all are going back home to our various offices equipped and better prepared to export everything Nigeria to the rest of the world. Having said that, I would like to invite up here the president of LCCI, ably ably supported by the chairman of the export group. Let's put our hands together as both of them come here. To present plaques to the panelists. They've done a wonderful job here today. So, I would like to call on Barrister Osita Aboloma, ably represented here today. Please, can you come? Thank you, sir. Let's encourage him as he comes.
On behalf of the council and members of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the parent body of this, of which the export group is part of, I present this to you as appreciation of our love for being part of this seminar of this year and making contribution. This is addressed to your DG. We hope you will deliver it as you have represented him ably here to him. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Next is the representative of the DG of NAFDAC.
Madam, on behalf of the council and members of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and the export group in particular, I'm presenting this to your DG, whom you are representing and you have represented ably well today. As appreciation of your support. And we are looking forward to more vibrant NAFDAC, as you've always been doing, in promoting export in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nigerian Agri Quarantine Service. Sir, on behalf of the council and members of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we present this to you for your contribution as a panelist at this Export Summit of 2019. Please express our best wishes to Dr. Vincent Isegbe. We were together in Abuja day before yesterday. I was there where he delivers. Regards to him. And the quarantine service is one of the government agencies that needs to do a lot of education about your services and work. Congratulations. Thank you very much for coming, sir. Next. Nigerian Exports Promotion Council. Madam, on behalf of Council and members of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we present this to, I know my brother is now an Otumba. So we are telling him that the mistake we know, Mr. Olusegun Awolowo Otumba, for the effort that the Nigerian Export Promotion Council is putting into export. We hope you will continue to do more. We are Oliver Twist, and we want to feel your impact. Thank you very much, and we congratulate you for this effort. Engineer Ayigusi, the last but not the least award that we are giving in recognition of the good work and your contribution to the economy. Sir, on behalf of Council and members of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we presented this plaque to you as a token of our love and appreciation for being a panelist at this 2019 Export Group Symposium. Thank you very much. And we hope this will also help to encourage you to do more for our nation, our great nation. Thank you, sir. So we thank everybody. The program continues. But I must say one thing about business. I think the mistake we make in this part of the world is that we don't respect professionalism. A man thinks he can do it all on his own, but we must recognize professionals. If you are going into any business, you must talk to those who know how to do it. You must go and learn, or you might learn the hard way by losing money as your school fees. I thank you for coming, and I hope we have all learned one thing or the other coming here. Thank you very much.
Please, let's put our hands together. It's been a wonderful time here today. In order to continue the conversation and to continue to collaborate with the private sector, we are seeking the permission of our panelists to allow us share their contact details, emails, and phone numbers to members of the audience so that the conversation can be taken beyond here and beyond today. We will also make the presentation available on our website. You can check it out on www.lagoschamber.com for more details. Also, it is important to let you know that this event is being streamed live as we speak on the internet. May I invite Membership Relationship Manager from the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in the person of Mr. Rotimi Oyelere, to please come and talk to us briefly for 2 minutes about joining the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Thank you so much, Mr. Halabi. Permit me to stand on established protocol. As my colleagues already introduced me, I'm Rotimi Oyelere. I'm from the membership department of the chamber. Just as you know, the LCCI is the largest chamber in Nigeria. It's one of the oldest institutions in West Africa. The chamber is a business membership-based organization, so we take in members. The chamber structure has a 24 sectoral group. So what that means invariably is no matter your areas of interest you are covered. There's a place for you within the LCCI structure to expand your business, to gain more mileage, and to become more relevant. Some of the benefits of being a member of the chamber is the networking opportunities that will provide. You agree with me that this is the platform, one of the largest platforms in Nigeria, where the okay. I want to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, can we maintain some decorum, especially at the back of the hall? Can we have our seat? The event is still in session. Please, in another 10-15 minutes, we'll be out of here. Please, let's have our seats. The event is still in session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, as I was saying earlier, networking opportunities that the chamber offers its member is second to none. Regularly, we'll engage the key stakeholders in the economy, just as you have them today, interacting directly with the regulators, SON, NAFDAC, NEPC. This is only the platform where you get that kind of opportunity. Also, we have what we call trade missions. Regularly, foreigners, foreign investors, foreign delegate comes to the chamber to make inquiries on the investors or businesses they can collaborate with. So as a member of the chamber, we call on you to meet with these people to expand your businesses. Also, as a member of the chamber, you have a good discount to all the services being offered by the chamber. And also, we render to you business development services. We have a well-staffed unit that conducts business development, entrepreneurial services, training, consulting, and business advisory. So, and also a service that would be of interest to you is your documentation. We're talking here today about export. We know export has a lot of documentation in the process. So instead of you burning yourself out, you can, as a member of the chamber can do this for you at a discounted rate while you focus on other areas of your business. So quickly, how can you become a member of the chamber? First, you have to be a business incorporated in Nigeria. That means you have your CAC certificate to do business in Nigeria. That is the main prerequisite. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry only admit corporate entity. We don't admit businesses that are not registered. What are the other requirements to be the member of the chamber? You have to pick up a form. So if you're not a member in the room, towards the end of this room, to my right, you'll see a desk, the forms there. Pick up the form, you fill the form, you send it back to us. In addition to the unfilled form, you will need to send to us the copy of your CAC certificate and get us 2 references, either from your banker or a lawyer or a public notary. And 2 financial members of the chamber can also certify you. Lastly, the chamber has 4 categories of membership, which means there's a place for everybody. We have the category A, B, C, and D. Categorization is determined by the annual turnover of the prospecting companies. So the details are there in the form. And also, before I drop the mic, you can also access the form on our website, www.lagoschamber.com. You can fill the form online, and also you can also interact with us online. The moment you come online, you can chat us up, and will respond to your concerns or questions. Thank you so much, as we look forward to having you in the chamber.
Please let's put our hands together for Mr. Rotimi Oyelere. Thank you very much for that brief. Next, we are moving very fast right now. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Olugbenga Ojo for 2 minutes to introduce Lackenberg LLC. Let's welcome Mr. Olugbenga Ojo. 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you. So, Lcci LLC is an American company. We're international trade consultants as well as corporate consultants. We provide regulatory services for all your exports and international trade requirements, whatever you need to do, your FDA certification, and any other kind of certification, because I think there's a bit of misconception that it is only food or consumables that can be exported. You can export other things like technology, like services. So we help you comply with all of these in the United States, in the UK and the UAE. We are present physically in 3 countries abroad and 1 country, basically in Nigeria. And we also help with company formation and structuring in the United States and the UK. So if you look at your business, you want to do a bit of expansion, expand the frontiers of your business, your services, we can structure a foreign entity for you, because we originally started 9 years ago as international trade attorneys. I'm an international lawyer, and I'm one of the partners of Lcci LLC. I'm based in the United States, and I'm also a member of the LCCI and a number of chambers of commerce all over the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate the brief. Also, I would like to welcome Otumba Akimbo Akin Olugbade, introducing Kawai Technologies. 2 minutes.
Thank you. I had told the MC I didn't want to talk. Thank you for that. Kawai Tech, we are a procurement company. We deal with a lot of the big names that you hear and see in Nigeria, Dangote Industries, Julius Berger, and those sorts of companies. We deal in procurement and logistics, but again, not in that sense that you are used to. We're the ones you go to when you need your hazardous goods moved from one country to another. We're the people you call when you need at the last minute to move equipment to go and work across the border in Cameroon, things of that nature. We also invest significantly in different sectors. We have a history in power, trade, as I've also already mentioned, and we have several brands under our banner. Bosch, Siemens, Gaggenau, and quite a few others, some that you all know, some that you don't. A lot of the agencies that have been up here, NAFDAC I'm not sure, but immigration, customs, all those sorts, all the good things in your offices that you all that you think look nice and showcase you in a very positive light actually come through our company. We're very quiet. We don't brand, we don't make noise, and sorry, I'm not good at public speaking, but I'll do better. But on behalf of our chairman, let me just thank everyone for participating in this event, and I think we can move on to the lunch segment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate. Okay, this is the way we are going to move. We will start with the president's table for lunch, and the next table to that of the president and then we go in that order so that we can have an orderly lunch. So I would like to invite Mr. Godwin Oyefeso to move the vote of thanks, and then we go to lunch.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are highly honored for creating time to be available at this symposium. And I want to believe that we've all really enjoyed ourselves. We've been imparted in terms of knowledge, which is very critical in this sector. And like we keep on telling people, export is an institution, and it takes institution to build up over time. So I want to advise us that all the knowledge you've been able to acquire in terms of getting things done should be put in place. One key thing that some of our presenters said today, number one is, Mr. Kolawa said, capacity building is key. So what that implies is that you need knowledge. If you are not informed, you are deformed. If you are deformed, you cannot perform. And if you cannot perform, it's poverty. So you need to have training. And number two, Olu told us that jumping to export without awareness is part of the reason why people are losing money. So we want to encourage us to try as much as possible to key into this sector, join this group. The export group is a viable sector whereby you can gain more knowledge at no cost. So once again, I want to thank the president who is ably available, and want to thank all the committee members who have been able to put this beautiful occasion in place. And we are trusting God that the Lord who has brought you here safely will take you home safely in Jesus' name. The Lord will be your guide, will be your protector, and you'll have no regrets in doing this business and doing it viably. Thank you very much. God bless you.
On that note, we would like to say a very big thank you and for participating at this year's symposium. I believe we are now better equipped to do better exports and earn that much desired forex to promote the economy and to grow the economy of Nigeria. On that note, I want to say a big thank you and thank you for coming. It is now time to go to lunch. We'll start with the president's table and all the other tables beside the president, after which we move to the next roll and the next roll and the next one till we all have our lunch. Once again, thank you for coming. God bless.